Hello there. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am doing part two for the Charlie Kirk, in which if you didn't see part one, I'll drop it into the description box for your convenience. And you could take a look. See, I'm not dedicating a lot of time for him directly, but the perspective of and the automatic view that comes from, or that has been coming from, his unfortunate demise by death yesterday, September 10th, in which he was shot in the neck and killed by a sniper. And boy, we're all sad about that because everyone should have their rights to their opinions and their freedom of speech. And we talk so much about that, and then we hypnotize a person in our hatred because they don't agree with us. And we can't seem to convince them otherwise, despite Charlie even being a debater, is what he promoted himself as. But you don't get to kill a person or destroy a person based on their views, which are strongly and diabolically different than yours. You don't just get to destroy that person. And and you don't get to go after people that they misalign their message with. So that's what this particular talk is about. Charlie Kirk shared a lot of Donald Trump's views. He even promoted his own channel in the what I would call the Trump tone, the overinflated, the greatest, that's the best. It's to me, those are all narcissistic. And I'm not calling him narcissist, but these are narcissistic tones and terms. They're the greatest thing ever, and there hasn't been anything better since this. Let me just read from his own channel, his own description. Now, whether or not you're familiar as a YouTuber, you are your content creator. You don't typically have like until you get big enough, and he's big enough, of course. He's big enough. Once you get over 2 million viewers or subscribers, you certainly can hire staff. But as a content creator, you're typically writing your own description boxes and things like that. But I just want to share his and see if you agree. It sounds Trump tone. His says that he is the founder and president of Turning Point, the largest and the fastest growing conservative activist organization in the country with over 250,000 student members. You see, over 150 full-time staff, and a presence that is broad across the nation, reaching over 2,000 high school colleges and campuses nationwide. We are the greatest and one of the top most engaged channels with over 100 million people on social medias. You see that? You see this? All of that because when we use the phenomenon of greatness, we have to emphasize the vastness of our reach. And that's what you get. That's what you get when you visit his channel. Now, why am I sharing that today? Because to me it's important in even Donald Trump's response. And of course, everyone I think should have some sense of sadness for this loss and need to send a message that this is absolutely never okay and give the strongest reaction to end it and make sure it never happens again. However, Donald Trump has since flown off flags at half-mast and have extended that for the next 4 days. Now, keep in mind, we are also in 9/11. So 9/11 in this country is a time that we would flags half-mast for those 3,000 lives that were lost 24 years ago in 2001 at the Pentagon, the Twin Towers, and all. To me, that nothing trumps that to me as far as national tragedy to me. So that's my opinion. Nothing trumps that. But Donald Trump has chosen to fly flags at half-mast for the next 3 days, and has chosen to elect to offer Charlie Kirk the Medal of Honor, a Medal of Honor, a Peace Honor, or Peace and Freedom Honor. Now, what directly that's going to entail, but a Medal of Honor. And to also use as many resources that would inflict a research of not just how this person was issued a gun, but to keep the gun rights in the gun rights active, but to whom would get that as a review, I would say, to take a view of that. So here's my views on those things. One is, again, while I'm sad he has lost his life, are we choosing to re-evaluate what flying a flag at half-mast really is and what that entails? Because this is not what that entails, is my understanding. And this is not a person who is a political career person. This is a person that is a debater, who is a media person, who is a person who rallies up people, who is a person who is an organizer, who is a person who could bring and build a company. But that doesn't make you a Medal of Honor person. Now, again, not knocking him. I'm talking about, how is it that we reach that choice to even consider that? And how is it that we somehow or another manage to make this an option without any consideration of what the criteria for that is in the first place, is what I'm saying. Because had he considered, Donald Trump, the criteria for flags at half-mast and medals of honor and peace and freedom awards and all of that, he would have at least read what the criterion is. And I don't see how Charlie Kirk fits all of those. I'm just saying. Although he's a media person. Now, our governor in this state, California, Governor Gavin Newsom, has his own podcast, and his very first guest was Charlie Kirk. This is giving you an example of the Trump-like ways of Charlie Kirk, where you have to promote thyself and make thyself bigger and grander and narcissistic type of traits. I'm not calling him a narcissist, but the traits. If you Google search that first interview, and many people have since the killing of Charlie Kirk yesterday, if you Google search that, while it was on Gavin Newsom's channel, all of the feeds go to Charlie Kirk's channel. You YouTube search it, YouTube search bar, you will get that interview, but it will be funneled through Charlie Kirk more than the content owner. Well, now this is rare. I do know, as a channel holder, small bitty one, that it is advantageous to link into and share into when you are positioning with or partnering with another channel. So you can pull in those leads and they can tie in your leads, and you can connect and you can vast a greater net. But rarely, if ever, that greater net is bigger than the content owners, because the content owner owns the content. But in this case, Charlie Kirk has more views on his channel of that interview than even Gavin Newsom does. And so when you YouTube search that, you'll find that. This is an example of how he maneuvers and moves like Trump. Everything has to be big and grandiose and all of that. And not to knock the, hey, like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. Not to knock it. But when you don't have a solid political role by which you are an elected official to earn all of these flags at half-mast, Medal of Honors, Peace and Freedom Awards, all of this so quickly is questionable. I'm just saying. It's just questionable. If you've gotten this far, please click like, and if you don't agree, you don't have to. Just be nice about it. Don't come at you, girl. Have a good evening. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna do one other post on a view that I have of this, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.